Well, hi everyone. I'm joined today with Stephen Yip and Pun Chak Yin. Stephen is a wonderful composer, born in Hong Kong but now based in the USA. And Pun Chak Yin is a wonderful cellist based here in Hong Kong. My name's William Lane. I'm a violist and artistic director of the Hong Kong New Music Ensemble, and I'm very glad to have collaborated on this piece for viola and cello by Stephen. So it's basically our entire team here talking about this wonderful piece, which is called Renga in Kigo. But before we get into the piece, I just wonder, Stephen, if you could, well, firstly, welcome. And secondly, I mean, maybe if you could, I remember we actually met a very long time ago, back in Austria.
Yeah, right.
I remember it was 2005 at the Impulse Academy with the Fura and Klangflora in Wien. So, you know, we've actually known each other for more than 15 years, which is crazy to think about, actually. And we've collaborated on many recordings, actually. I mean, since you're based in the USA, something that we've really focused on with the New Music Ensemble and different collaborations. You know, they're mainly recordings, you know, some live performances. But perhaps you could just give a little bit of you know, context to or some descriptions of the projects we've done together in the past.
Yeah, sure. But thank you, William, for your invitation, and then and also thanks for mentioning our friendship starting back to 2005. Yeah, so now we become like a very old friends, but actually we haven't met each other many times. Yeah, but it's very interesting. Yeah. So I remember the very first time the Hong Kong New Music Ensemble recorded my piece for a flute quartet. It was one of the projects by the Hong Kong Composers Guild. So I remember that. Yeah, then I think you played the violin, yeah, not the viola. It was written for a flute, violin, cello, and piano. But that was my second version of my piece. The first version was written for a string quartet and shakuhachi. Yeah. So maybe perhaps in the future we might do it again and then to do this. Yeah. So and then after that, I think we have been recording another pieces. It's like a larger ensemble, a hermit, right? It's like for I think 7 or 8 instruments. Yeah, so it's like a big one. And then we published it in a CD with the L-Bass records. Yeah, and also there was another one is for Wu Zhang and another large ensemble piece. Yeah, so that I think we also did in the same like a solo album. So thank you so much. Yeah, so and then and also before that we record my piece Ding 2 is for Wu Zhang and string quartet. Yeah, there's many pieces.
Yeah, I remember that was a wonderful project.
Very
in Prague,
important one. Yeah.
In Czechia. Yeah, where we traveled. Our string quartet and our Zhang soloist traveled to.
Right. Yeah.
At that time called the Czech Republic. Now it's called Czechia. So we did a recording in Prague. Unfortunately, you weren't there, but
I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have multiple performances in Macau, Hong Kong, and Prague, right? So
yeah, exactly. We've performed that piece since. So it's been, I have really nice memories of that piece particularly. I mean, I think that's the most recent. Is that the most recent one we've done of yours, correct?
Yeah. No, the other two are the most recent one. The string quartet is about the second piece. Yeah, we recorded. Yeah. So yeah. So, but it was a live recording. Yeah. So it was a live recording. I remember that just the producer, and then he recorded for the live concert, and then it became the CD. Yeah, and maybe they have been doing some touch up after the like a post production. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. So but thank you so much. I'm looking forward. We will do more and more. Yeah, and this time we have been doing this duet piece. Is a part of our project, and I'm planning to do. And then but maybe I shouldn't mention too much details. How are we going to do this? But it's going to be recorded in one of my solo CD album. So thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, maybe you could explain. I mean, Renga in Kigo. It's for I mean, it's not so often that you find these wonderful duos for
Mhm.
viola and cello. Maybe you could explain a little bit about, who the piece was dedicated
Yeah.
to, like the background of the piece. I mean, and
Right,
also
sure.
the significance of these, of the title as well.
Yeah. So maybe I should mention a little bit about the very original first the project. Yeah. Well, it was written for and actually one of my very good friends. We went to school together, and then he's a cellist called Daniel Science. So he's a very wonderful cellist. He went to Rice and went to Eastman School of Music, and then we kind of went to school together. But we're in different degrees, and then I was in the doctoral candidates, and then he was in the master candidates. But he is a very kind of interested in playing contemporary music. But so he just kind of gave me a idea, and then he wanted to do like a full concert with all the inspired by haiku, Japanese poem haiku. So and then he knew me, and then I have been composing a lot of music based on haiku, Japanese haiku. And besides that, and then he also knows me, I always like to borrow a lot of Oriental, especially for the Japanese aesthetics concepts. So, and then this piece, and then I wrote for him for that project. But however, finally, somehow, and then it couldn't make it yet because the another part, then we have some kind of things because the violas has been changing a couple of times. So that's why we finally couldn't really make it yet. So and then however, thank you William to perform this. Now it's like a world premiere now. Okay. And then thank you Pun. I know this is a not easy piece, yeah, because when I know someone, and then I just kind of tailor the piece for him, and then it's going to be difficult. Yeah, I know, and I use quite a lot of different techniques and things. So, but thank you so much. You guys did a wonderful job. This is just such a very, very good performance. Yeah. Okay. So title, Renga in Kigo. So, well, both words are Japanese. I'm not sure. Maybe William or Pun, you might know Japanese, but I do not. But I just like the culture. I like the language. I like the aesthetic concept in between. So actually, Renga is a kind of related to the Japanese poem. It's going to be like a collective, which means they might have a short, even shorter than haiku, But I'm just kind of using this as the idea. How do I want to use it? Yeah. So let me see. I have some notes here, and then I'm not going to read it, but I'm just kind of using this as a kind of my inspiration. So actually, I put 5 different haikus, but there are some kind of words they are related to each other. So which means number one, they can have a same theme or same kind of a contents. Or number two, the word can be like you can read it like this way, like a vertical way or linear way. So which means just see how do you read those haikus. So that's why I'm just kind of interested in original Basels. Basel, we might know is like a very original guy, original poet who wrote a poem for this haiku in back to 17th century in Japan. So and then I just randomly pick some of his original haikus. I don't really read Japanese, but however, I have the book. It's a very good one to help me to translate all of those in English. So, but meanwhile, I can read some kanji, so some kind of Chinese character. I still can find out those similar word and similar context. So I just put them together, and I actually choose all kind of a different haiku. I just try to put it in the linear way and the vertical way to see how do I find the relationship between those 5. So that's why this is maybe one of the reasons why I put this 5 haikus together in kind of a 5 short movements. So so you might know haikus is very, very short poems, just only few sentences, even though if those sentences might not be quite in a complete sentence. So I just put them together, and then they all are related to nature. They all are related to nature. And then and personally, I just put add some kind of Chinese title And then just for myself, and maybe if you as a performer, when you read my score, and then you might see those kind of small titles, I kind of wrote it for it. And then it's just kind of give us as a players, as a composer or musicians, it might be able to inspire some of our thought to about this. So, and then yes or no, and then I just pick these two instruments in my own purpose. However, I use most of the technique is coming from the nature of the string instruments. So you might know, you may not be able to hear like a melody playing like in the normal way, which means you really play the note and then to bow it, and then which means I might do a lot of like a touching, and then different things like a high harmonics. And then, but I know we have been struggling, and then some like above the ninth partial, those kind of harmonics are always unstable, and we might say out of tune because the tuning system is not based on the 12 well temperament, but we agree. So that's why we may be able to hear quite a lot of quarter tones or even smaller than quarter tones, and then this is quite normal for us to understand the natural harmonic. So and then yes, and then this is about the things, and then I kind of using this, and of course I kind of give me some kind of a sign when I'm using a word. How do I want to spotlight those words? Like when I was saying, and then they are related, like when you read from the left to right, even from the top to the bottom, and then some words are they kind of related to each other, which means I kind of creating the things, and you can read it in any other way, but some word I kind of spotlight those, and then instead of just kind of reading normally. So this is one of another my ideas. I want to create this in this composition. So musically, and then you might be able to hear quite a lot of musical technique, and then a very non-traditional, and then just also is in my plan to do that. Yeah. So but however, the harmonic structure is very, for me, it's quite simple because I pretty much based on the sound spectrum. In two, most likely like in two different. Sometimes they even combine together based on one spectrum or two spectrum, and then go vertically. This is my harmonic approach. Not even in this piece, and then in my other pieces, I've been trying to using this, just try to think about how do I build a harmonic spectrum to find those notes and then to construct my harmonic language. Yeah.
So, yeah, wonderful. I noticed that there are 5 sections or movements in the
yes.
piece. Is there a reason you chose five parts for this piece?
Yeah, those 5 parts. Those are not quite separate. When you play it, and then they are almost like together. So, however, it's very interesting. I want to say in this over here, yeah, because to composers and to performers too, because every time composers, when we compose a piece, we have the first idea. When we were almost finishing our piece, and then we should have some kind of a second idea. So that's why we always change the titles, change the pacing of the piece. So like cutting out some measures or extending something is very normal, very normal. Even you might see after the first time when you rehearse it, I put some fermaters there. So some pacing, we kind of added this. However, after performance, we still want to make the music. So this is I might want to mention, because we created music together, composer, performer, and just like a one artist, we will cooperate to do this together. Because after I listen to you guys playing, and then I have some new ideas or some kind of really construct my original idea and even make it firm. Make it even
firm. I remember after our first rehearsal, we sent you a recording, and then you sent us a revised score. Actually, I mean, quite subtle changes. A few extra. It's more about pacing, right? A few extra fermaters, but some different notes actually. And I think that's the wonderful thing about the composer-performer collaborative process is that if we have enough time to be able to do that. I mean, of course, it's much better if we're in person. We're meant to be here together, but we're not. I mean, that's an unfortunate case that the pandemic has brought us. But still, we have technology available where we can send you very quickly
the Zoom.
Zoom recordings of
Yeah.
not this Zoom, but on a Zoom microphone recording, but which allows you to get a sense of our own pacing and for us to ask questions about particular techniques, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe to come to those techniques, I mean, in terms of, say, harmonics, musical flow, the performance practice, I mean, Pun Chak Yin, do you have some thoughts about, I mean, like approaching this piece for the first time as a cellist, and now knowing that Stephen originally wrote this for a cellist, with someone very specific in mind and a certain sound world in mind. I mean, how did you approach this piece for the first time?
Oh, well, when I first got the piece, I was like, wow, the full piece is like all harmonics, and I've never played that much of harmonics before. And then because there were some performing notes, and there are some harmonics that I know how to do it before, but there are many new harmonics that I've never tried before. So when I first practiced the piece, I was trying to make all the harmonics like possible, like trying experimenting how to make the harmonics stable and clear, and which some of them are very difficult. And I mentioned to William, it's very difficult, and I was very stressed because I couldn't play it. And then, but before I met William, I was trying to make all the technical things happen, and I wasn't thinking about the sounds. I just want to make sure it speaks and everything.
Yeah.
But when I met William, it was so much better than I thought, because there were like ideas coming through, and then I was not thinking about how to make it like the technical aspect is not that important. I was like making the gesture, and then the sound that is making the whole piece much more easier, because when I play with William, I know I have like a more complete idea of the whole piece, and then the sound and then everything like becoming easier. And then the harmonics, of course, there are certain harmonics that is, for me, it's very difficult to play, but like it takes time to digest, because like after I play it for several times with William, and then I find it's more getting easier to get the feeling of how to make the sound speeds, and then the which position of the cello, like the bow, can make the harmonic speeds more stable.
So you did wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I really
enjoyed
learning the piece. Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupt, because you just did really, really great. Because besides at the beginning, I mentioned about this piece because I wrote for someone, and then so that's why I really select those kind of a special technique. And the second thing is important because of William and other members in Hong Kong New Music Ensemble, they have been playing my music before. But this is your first time to perform my music. And even, before those pieces we mentioned at the beginning, those are, I would say this piece is harder than those. Be honest, yeah. This piece is much harder than those bigger ensemble piece and the quartet and the guzheng. So, and then unfortunately, you just pay by one of the hardest piece. And then it also is your first time to do it, yeah. But just be honest, it was really, really good. Yeah, I listened to the recording again and again. Yeah, but just thank you so much, Pun. Yeah. So and of course, William, you both did very, very great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, and actually, Pun brought together brought up an interesting point, like preparing a piece like this. I mean, actually, it was a blessing in disguise that the fifth COVID wave came through Hong Kong just as we were meant to record this, because actually we were meant to, all right, within the space of a month, record the piece. But with something new like this, actually, it's nice. We've had almost 6 months. From starting rehearsal to, I mean, of course not rehearsing all the time, but it was actually much easier, perhaps you'd agree, when we came back to the piece, and it's not like starting the piece again. It's actually, there's certain muscle memory and a certain musical knowledge that's matured through the month. And something that Pun also brought up was like some of these harmonics are very unstable, right? And aiming for note perfection sometimes, or harmonic perfection, complete accuracy can be our downfall in moments like this, because that instability is actually part of the piece. When we're there on the 11th harmonic, it's not going to sound all the time, and that's
Oh, yeah.
that's part of the nature of the writing, and actually
Yeah.
part of the beauty of the musical gesture sometimes, that
Right,
instability. And
Yeah.
it's something that, you know, and also the sense of timing, you know. And I think something we talked about in our first rehearsal was, yeah, that gesture is really important. And yeah, we can work through it carefully with a metronome or with a, you know, just leading through so we have a sense of time. But in the end, I think what we found was our tempo was quite flexible, because sometimes we needed more time for certain things to speak, right? Yeah, so it would be a very, very different experience, say, if we did this with conductor.
I may want to add a few things. Yeah, because you have mentioned all these ideas. It's just exactly match what I've been thinking about in this piece. Because one of the major concepts in this piece is a Japanese philosophy, wabi-sabi. So wabi-sabi is one of the things that they are not, is a beauty. It's definitely a beauty, but the beauty of the nature is not the beauty of the perfection. So which means you might be, well, one of the example is a very good example for the wabi-sabi is you might see a piece of wood, is a very, very old wood staying outside with a nail pointing at it. So you can see after rain, after like a sunshine, whatever, and then the rustic, and then you can see is falling down like a tears, and then the wood is been like broken naturally. But that kind of beauty is the idea. So that's why we are not looking for like a very luxury things. So that's why when you're talking about the high harmonics, it's natural. But we are not looking for seeking for the like a perfection of the intonation. And also you might be able to see a lot of like a instability. Even the signs, a hissing sign, like almost like a distortion or unexpected even harmonics. So that's why every time maybe we might don't really looking for the real tone. So like I think I remember one of my sessions, and then you require you guys to going from the fundamental and then all the way go up to the like 11 or even 13 over partials, and then you can see it's getting more and more instability. So from the stability building up to the instability. So this is the one of the important I would say the beauty in this piece or in this idea. So that's why I really like the Japanese idea, like a wabi-sabi. Yeah. So nobody is perfect. So we are not looking for the perfection, looking for the nature of the beauty. This is the thing for me, at least for me. And then I really like these things in my work. Yeah.